You know, in Jamaica, if you see the security guard following you around the store, it's not because of the color of the skin that you have. That's usually not it. It's usually because they feel like they can't afford to shop there. And if you're Jamaican, you're supposed to know exactly what I'm talking about. Hi, my name is Claudette and I am your Jamaican Gypsy Granny. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back to Jamaican Gypsy Granny, where we talk about all sorts of things. But usually on a Friday, I talk about things we don't really talk about that much over here. And today we're trying to answer this question. Does racism really exist in Jamaica? That depends on who you're talking to. The answer will be different depending on who you ask that question. Some people will tell you, oh, absolutely not. They will point to the national anthem and remind you that our motto is out of many one people, all are the same. We are all the same in beautiful Jamaica. Jamaicans of different race have lived side by side for generations in this country. They will tell you that Jamaica is one of the most racially mixed societies in the world. That's true. Then you have other people who will say, yep, racism is alive and well in Jamaica. And they will point out experiences that they have had, things they have witnessed, attitudes that live just beneath the surface. So who is right? Before I answer that, we need to understand something about Jamaica, right? When many people hear the word racism, they immediately think of America or England or South Africa under apartheid. They think about all the laws that separated people by race. Some of us still remember the signs telling certain people that they could not use certain bathroom, drink out a certain water fountain. We've all heard it. We know that there are countries that have a whole system that was built to keep one group above another. And because Jamaica does not have these in-your-face systems, many people believe that racism does not exist here. But that is not the only form that racism takes. Something I want to talk about. And I think this is why a lot of us believe racism doesn't exist. Jamaica is not the most politically correct society in the world. If we describe it to somebody, we talk about the black man over there, the white man, the brown, the Chinese, the Indian, the Syrian. It's just how we describe somebody. I wouldn't mean nothing by it. It's just the same way we would describe somebody. If they're tall, we call them tally. If they have 1 foot, we call them one in. If they stutter, we call them stammer. That's just how we are. And because of this, it has led to this belief that racism does not exist here. Here, the color of your skin is not your identity. The color of your skin does not tell you what they're worth, where they can go, or how the world is going to treat them when they walk out of the door this morning. In Jamaica, the color of your skin is just the color of your skin. It's just something used to describe it, not more than that. No, contrast that with what we see elsewhere in so many countries around the world. Blackness became an identity, not by choice, but by force. When a system is built to use your color against you, to limit you because of it, to make you feel less than because of it, you have two choices. You either let it crush you, or you reclaim it and turn it into an armor. You turn it into pride. And that reclaiming is powerful, beautiful, and necessary, but it only has to happen because something was taken in the first place. If you don't lose nothing, you don't have a majority black country. We have always been. And when you are the majority, when you look around and everybody else looks just like you, there's no system telling you that your color is a problem. So it never becomes your identity in that loaded, political, survival-driven way. It's just your complexion, just what you look like. But here's where I need to slow down, because it's really not that simple. Because while racism in the American or apartheid sense did not follow us into independence, something else did. Something that is far more insidious, because it is not in your face, it is not acknowledged. We're not talking about it. We just accept it as a way of life, and that is where it becomes very dangerous for us. You see, instead of racism, we had to deal with colorism. Now, colorism is when people are treated differently, not because of their race, but because of the shade of their skin. And many Jamaicans will tell you that this is a far bigger issue here than racism ever was. Think about what we hear growing up. When you're brown, people praise you, browning, wild good browning. We've had songs sung about it. You hear people talk about good hair, bad hair, good hair, bad hair. Now, even though I've now come to discover that this is not something that is endemic only to the black culture, because I've heard people of other races describing people in their race of having bad hair. But this is something that is culturally a part of us. And why we have a hair problem. And if you watched my video about wigs and black hair, I did address that. Anyway, I'll put that in the description. But the assumption that was made, that was quietly introduced to us, told us that lighter is better. And this is a part of our residual effects of racism or slavery that existed here, because you know the brown and moving out of the house and she become housemaid. Yeah, well, we still have a lot of Jamaicans striving to become and achieve housemaid status. Anyway, I digress. Oh, and because of that, there we have the problem with skin bleaching. Oh my God. Think about that seriously. If people never have a problem with the color of their skin, why would they think it necessary to change it by using something as harmful as bleaching? Now let's get back to the security guard. He's not following you because of your race. He's following you because of what he thinks your class is. And that is the next thing I want to talk about, because we've discussed racism, colorism. Let's talk about classism. In Jamaica, money opens doors. Money determines where people live, where their children go to school, who they interact with, and what opportunities come their way. How about the dark-skinned Jamaican live a completely different life from a poor, dark-skinned Jamaican? So guess what? It's not only the color of your skin that opens doors. If you have enough money, you can buy your way through, but you may still not be accepted into the upper echelons of society. Because, can you tell me why? Tell me why in the comments. Tell me why when you're rich as a black person, you still have problems in Jamaica. Tell me. Alright? Anyway, it's the same thing that applies to light-skinned people, because we know we have poor light-skinned people and we have rich light-skinned people. But look at it. This is the issue. You have light-skinned poor and light-skinned rich. Now the light-skinned rich may be able to wedge themselves in the group of the rich whites a little bit easier than the rich blacks. You hear me say? So now tell me, is it just classism, colorism, or still a little bit of racism? So in Jamaica, we're not just worried about racism. We don't have to think only about racism, because we have 3 different levels of things to deal with. We have to deal with classism, we have to deal with colorism, and we have to deal with moneyism. Right? So now this is where the conversation gets complicated, because in Jamaica, race, color, and class overlap. And this does not happen by accident. It comes directly from history, from slavery and colonial rule, when power and wealth were concentrated in a very small group. Generations passed, but many of those social patterns still remained. The Jamaica we live in today did not appear from nowhere. It was shaped by hundreds of years of history. That history influences how communities developed, how wealth was distributed, how social networks were formed, and whether we like it or not, it still influences its perceptions. So what is the honest answer to this? Perhaps the better question is not whether racism exists in Jamaica. Perhaps the better question is this: to what extent does race, color, and class, and wealth, class and wealth, well, you still have poor people with class who will still get a better life anyway. Race, color, and class still shape opportunities and perceptions in modern Jamaica. That way, the conversation, this dialogue, stops being about winning an argument and starts being about understanding our society, right? Because it's very easy to hide under the umbrella of out of one people. Don't get me wrong, Jamaica is a fantastic country. We are people with a complex history. We have achieved far more racial integrations than most nations have. That is genuinely worth celebrating, but recognizing our achievements should not stop us from taking a look at our shortcomings. And many of us never understood how rare our experience was until we left Jamaica, until we stepped off a plane somewhere else and felt for the first time what it means to be black. What it means to be seen not as a person, but as a black person. Here, you're just Jamaican. We don't call ourselves Jamaican, African. No, everybody is just Jamaican. It's once we travel. A lot of us left here not knowing, not having heard that descriptor applied to us, a black person. Nothing in our Jamaican life had prepared us for this reality. Now that the internet has become made the world such a small space, we are seeing more and more, so we understand it a little better. But nothing back home ever prepared us for racism as it exists in countries where racism exists, without me pointing out anything. Alright, so I think I've covered most of it, but tell me, if you grew up in Jamaica, if you've ever lived in Jamaica, if you moved here, did you ever think about the color of your skin as anything more than just the color of your skin? When did the color of your skin become a part of your identity? Where did it become a part of your identity? Please let me know in the comments. Because as I said, in Jamaica, the color of your skin is not your identity. It's just the color of your skin. Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And I want to know where you stand on this argument. Does racism exist in Jamaica? Have you ever experienced it? If this video made you ask any questions, if it addressed something you've been thinking about, I'd love it if you would subscribe to the channel My name is Claudette and I am your Jamaican Gypsy Granny, where we talk about serious issues, we talk about moving to Jamaica, and introduce you to culture and everything. If you want to hear anything like that, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, share the video, like the video, leave a comment please, because the more you engage, the more the channel will grow. Alright, thanks for watching. Ciao.